Hey, how's it going? This is sp-404. Welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about the most important thing about creating electronic-based music, and that would be sound selection. I think that a lot of people have this misconception about gear or digital audio workstations and how they might sound better than others, or they might be better than one thing might be better than another thing. And I think that is a false way of looking and viewing at creating music, especially electronic based music, because there are endless amounts of hardware and software gear that you can't even really tell the difference between one to another for the most parts. And this is where I'm getting at. So when you're using something like an sp-404mk2, for example, there are limitations that it has where the MPC line, like the new MPC Akai lines, they have different workflow and a different set of features. Instead of focusing in on what does this offer me and what can I do with it, those are also important. When someone chooses a piece of gear, they're not choosing it because they think that it sounds better than something else. And if that is the case, then you might as well just work in a digital audio workstation, because it won't necessarily color the sounds that you use differently. Whereas if you're using, say, an sp-404mk2 or an MPC-1 Plus, it might have a slight different variation in the way that it treats the sounds that you put into it. But it's a slight change. Of course, this has its own filter system, EQ system, and compression system, where so does the MPC-1 Plus. My point is that the most important thing, in my opinion, about creating electronic-based music, or even to go farther, music in general, is the sounds that you use. When you go to a store for buying an instrument, you could buy you have options of various amounts of guitars or pianos, but the price tag of something doesn't necessarily mean that it's better than something else. And I think the most important thing about why someone would make music in the first place is, aside from it's not focused on how much they spent on the gear that they use or anything like that. The most important thing is making something with what you already have or what you are going to get. And so, yeah, basically, I think this is the most important thing. And it's good to be aware of keeping things simple in terms of when you're going into a creative environment and flow, you want to make sure that you're comfortable with what you are making. So aside from knowing how to use a device, you don't want it to get in your way. So you have to focus in on the creative part of it, like creating the beat. Everything else about the features that something has, how much updates it has, I think it's all irrelevant. The only thing that it helps with is it's nice to have these set of features because it helps me to do this and etc. These types of features and add-ons or whatever are just there for creative people to use, for tools to make it easier for us, and sometimes it's there to make it more inconvenient. That way we have to figure out how to use it in a different way to achieve what we're trying to achieve with the gear that we use. And so without further ado, I will create a beat using the sp-404mk2. It's going to be kind of a slower tempo beat, like 70 BPM, because I'm working on this project right now, but it's taking me a little bit of time to finish it. If you want good quality sounds, you can go, there's endless amounts of libraries, sample libraries, whether it's Splice or from individual people that actually create their own music and their own sample packs. I would recommend going and either purchasing or finding some free alternatives where people provide those samples and being able to use those, whether it's drum packs or samples of melodic loops and one-shots, for example. It really will help in cutting out all the excess of choice when it comes to sound selection, because at the end of the day, sound selection is the most important thing in my opinion when producing. And if you want to create a certain type of sound or genre, you have to choose those types of sounds or make the sounds that you have work for you within that type of genre that you are trying to create, if that makes any sense. I know it's a little bit of a complicated discussion. It's really hard to teach sound selection, but using sample packs really is a shortcut for making good beats, in my opinion. So I'm going to use this short kick. A little bit of a shorter kick. Now I'm going to get a snare. Let's get a snare this time. This is kind of like a clap snare. And now some hats. I like this one. Okay, and a little bit of an open hi-hat. Let's take the gate off. Gate. And now, I think just an 808. Yeah, that's cool. It's very low, so you might not be able to hear without headphones or a good system, but so those are my basic sounds that I have selected. Now I'm also going to choose a sample to use from one of my packs. Let's see if I can find anything actually. I'll get this ambient loop thing and I'll chop it up and then I'll create a beat using it. Okay, so I have some sounds here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn some of these down and maybe okay, that's cool. Yeah, turn that way down. Here we go. I know I'm off, but it's on quantize, so it's all good. I don't know if it's gonna do those triplets, but no, it's not. I would have to choose a setting in here, so anyways, that's okay. it out of record for a second. I'm going to also turn this down a little bit more. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is stop this and then chop this up. So for me to chop, I would have to go to Shift Chop. So I'm going to do it by hand. I've probably already used this in other beats, but it's okay. And I'll go to assign to pad. So here we go. All right, enter chop. So it's not gonna cut each other off, but for me to do that, I have to put them in mute groups. So let's go mute group, and that's full. B is full. Let's go to C. Okay, that's actually full too. So I'm gonna take this off, go to D, and now I'm all good to go. I'm gonna truncate that one so it's not. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is also put them in their own bus effect. So remain now. I'm going to also copy. When you press copy, you can turn all the ones in the same mute group down or pitch them down all together at the same time. So, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna record this in. I gotta wait for it to come back. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here we go, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. I'm also gonna add this hi-hat or open hi-hat. I'm going to adjust the pitch of the, there we go. That's nice. The cool thing is on the sp-404, even if you have recorded the pattern in, you can still go ahead and change the volume and pitch after the fact. So that's kind of useful. Now let's add the bass line. Nice and simple. So I'm gonna turn them all up a little bit actually. That's cool. Anyways, that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.